Hello, my friends, and welcome. Welcome back. Yes, it's another day for another lesson. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about the big D. No, it's not what you think, ladies. It's not what you think. We're talking about divorce. Dun, dun, dun. Yes, that big nasty word we call divorce. It's every man's nightmare. Every man. Because we know the woman we married, it's not the same woman that we are divorcing. It's almost like a Jekyll and Hyde. That woman we married was sweet and so adorable, and we wanted to get on our knees and say, take it. Oh, I love you. Yeah, and the woman that we're now dealing with in divorce, oh, that's a nasty, nasty bee. Oh, she is ruthless. Her only goal is to get as much as she can. She has no regards for your feelings, nothing. It's all about her. This is her retirement. This is her new life. This is everything that she wants. This is all the perks that she wants financially so that she could now go off and do something new. And when I keep telling you guys, women are constantly craving new and exciting things. For her, this is exciting. This is the vision that has been put in her brain by other single women, by other divorced women. Because these divorced women, all they will ever fill other married women's head up with, oh, you could do better, girl. You could do better. Look at me. I got the house. Look at me. I have a new car. Look at me. Look at what I'm doing. Oh, I got a new guy. Oh, I'm flying off here. I'm flying off there. And you know what? This is the biggest problem. Women will take that divorce money and they will blow it because they have no long-term strategy in mind. They're going to try to convince the sisterhood that they are living the best life. So that house that they've gotten, most of the time they can't maintain it. Most of the time, that vacation or those trips money, that's the child support that she's blowing. Most of the time, she's not putting any money away for her later years. She's just looking at that immediate paycheck that she's getting. And very soon, the money runs out. So she needs to find another victim and fast. She either realizes, shit, she'll try to go back to court to get more money from the guy because he's moved on, he's got a better job, and he's got a younger model. Or he's just doing it hard on his own, he's given up, and she needs to get more from him. Most of you ladies live in quiet regret. But a lot of the times, you all go on TikTok and you cry about how you regret leaving the man.
I think that you have to open your eyes to the reality of what marriage is. You have to recognize that in most places in the West, if you get married, you are essentially inviting the state into your household. The state is built in such a way that it actually encourages women to get divorced. Like, women are financially incentivized today to leave their families, to leave their husband, because they will make a lot more money from the government as a single mom raising the kids, having most of the control raising those kids, and alienating the father from those kids. Like, there's financial incentives to breaking up the household. I think that you have to open your eyes to the reality of what marriage is. You have to recognize.
So we know in the West, gentlemen, that the divorce laws are stacked against us. We know that. 100%. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of men are no longer looking at marriage as an option. It's just, there's no upside to men getting married. In reality, he's getting free panani, variety of panani, right? Because he's not obligated to one woman. He might have 1, 2, 3 women on the go, if he's a Chad type dude. But on the other hand, if you're an average guy, you can always go out and buy it whenever you need it. And if you're a passport bro, if you realize that you could do a remote job, you can go to any foreign country and pick a nice girl that is traditional and she would want to work with your program. So, gentlemen, there's always options. But today I want to talk about something a little different because the system that we currently have isn't working. And at some point, governments are going to have to realize that something has to change. Otherwise, society as it is isn't functioning at its optimal. Now, the beautiful thing about certain countries is that they have seen what the West has been doing and it isn't working. And one country I've found is Kenya. Kenya has seen what the West is producing as far as family values, and they have passed some laws. And that's what I want to introduce you guys today, because I strongly suspect it's coming to America. That was just a play on the words from the Eddie Murphy movie. But it's going to be coming to the West for sure.
50% divorce settlements for women, and here is why. First of all, the idea of splitting a man's matrimonial property with a woman has been proven to be problematic, specifically in the Western countries where divorce is incentivized. Meanwhile, it's becoming popular in certain liberal African countries. A woman marries a man for a couple of years and make a few babies with him, and the next thing you know is she's filing for a divorce. And she's doing this seeking 50% of the man's wealth. And so a 5-man Supreme Court judges in Kenya considered all that's involved in these situations and voted unanimously in favor of amending that law, which President Ruto has signed into law since last year. The new law provides settlement for the lady based on either the financial contributions she's put into their marriage or a certain percentage is allocated to her based on their number of kids, their ages, and also because she provided a conducive home for the husband to live and thrive. I love women, don't get me wrong, and I will never wish bad for them. But the rate of divorce and the reasons behind why the women are quick to file for divorce are getting absurd, ladies and gentlemen. It's clear that in many cases the women wouldn't have married the guy if not for the man's money. But we cannot reward that with half of the man's hard-earned wealth when the lady decides to walk away. And in line with that, I think what the Nigerian novelist wrote is totally true. Eneke the bird says that since men have learned to shoot without missing, he has learned to fly without perching. End of quote. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for every man to be aware of the times and the trends. Don't be charmed by beauty, for it won't last. Find a woman who isn't carried away by money and easily manipulated by the trends of friends.
Yes. And you know the reason why this was changed is because men in Kenya stood up. They fought the law. Because like he said, the feminist ideal, the gynocentric movement has been pushed in Africa. Because I hear the African men over here in Dubai complaining about the same thing. No, they don't want to marry an African woman, especially the women in the cities. Because they're only looking for a man for money, have a baby, then divorce him, take his money. But at least in Kenya, the men, they're rejoicing. They will be happy now to get married to a woman because they know that their assets are not on the hook. So I strongly suggest, gentlemen, you need to rally yourselves. You need to get together as a collective and file your own lawsuits to the Supreme Courts or in your cities and in your countries in the West to say, hey, no more, no more. This is what you have to do. Otherwise, I can't see it getting any better. Let's hear what the news reporter says.
Now, as a spouse, you are not automatically entitled to 50% share of the matrimonial property upon divorce. This is according to a judgment by the Supreme Court of Kenya that has stated that each party should leave the marriage with property he or she acquired individually during the union based on proof of contribution.
The Supreme Court judgment has settled the contentious issue in the country's family law about sharing of matrimonial property upon divorce. The Apex Court has now ruled that upon divorce, each party should leave the marriage with the property he or she acquired during the union. According to the judgment, one who wants a share of the matrimonial wealth upon divorce must prove his individual contribution to the creation of the share of wealth he or she is laying claim on. An individual's contribution may be direct, such as financially, or indirect, such as running off the welfare of the home or caring for children, as the other spouse works to earn to pay for the property. The 5-judge bench led by Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu also ruled that the test to determine the extent of contribution of a party is one of a case-to-case basis. This latest judgment has elicited mixed reactions among Kenyans.
In case of a divorce, tunagawana mali 50-50. Juu tumewestiana for more than 30 years. We can't waste 30 years together and then you go with all the property and I'm left with nothing but the children.
The court ruled that while Article 45, Sub-Article 3 of the Constitution deals with equality of the fundamental rights of spouses during dissolution of a marriage, such equality does not mean the redistribution of proprietary rights or an assumption that spouses are automatically entitled to a 50% share by the fact of being married.
Sababu ako na watoto wengi kupita kiasi.
You find most of the ladies quit their careers, quit their lives just to go and support these guys to, for example, support the kids at home, feed the family. And with this rule, I don't think that it's fair that a man can walk away with everything he earns.
Ruling of today, it is more advantage to the men because most of the time when men pick up economically, they do investment, they run businesses, you find that that's when problems start. And by the end of the day, they lose in the end.
The Apex Court's decision is now expected to shape legal wrangles between ex-husbands and ex-wives on splitting of wealth after the collapse of their marriages. The judgment stemmed from a case which had been filed all the way from the High Court, Court of Appeal to the Supreme Court by a couple who were fighting over property ownership after divorce.
So, a few comments on this news story. Number one, I want to look at it from a female's perspective because two women basically said something. Number one, a woman who's been married to a man for 30 years and she wants to leave now, why would she want to leave? If you stay with a man for 30 years and then you expect to then walk away with 50% of his assets, that is not fair either. Because whether it's 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, you made an obligation to stay in a marriage. The idea that you can or you get that opportunity to walk away because you feel like you want to break that commitment, why would you be rewarded for that? The woman who said most women give up their career to have kids and to have a family and she puts everything into that, then I would ask her this. What happens if you wanted to have kids but you didn't want to get married, you just wanted to be a single mom? Tell me how that would work. How would you grow a great career being a single mom? It's next to impossible. Problem I find is that women will always look for the extremes to argue a case. No one thinks about something like what me and my wife are doing, right? She has a career. I have a career. We both come together, pool our resources. We have a helper. Well, we had one until the girls have now outgrown them. We had a helper for 15 years. She helped with most of the housework, which basically gave us the opportunity to live a comfortable life where our kids were never displaced, never had a problem because one parent wasn't in the house at all times. We had the freedom to do that. And unfortunately, that's the only way a modern family can survive, where it pleases the woman to go into the workplace and still have her career. People are providing for the family and they're both striving economically. Now, that's my situation. Now, if the woman chooses to stay at home and the husband can afford to go out there and work and provide for the family and also put something away and invest in either a business, buying more assets that create more income, and also provide a nest egg for the future for both of them, because that's essential. Unfortunately, most couples live paycheck to paycheck. They have nothing put away for their later years. My job in our marriage is to make sure that I invest whatever little bit of income that we have left over into investments and opportunities where we can both survive in our later years. And if I see that, hey, we're spending too much money, then we make the decision, we need to downgrade. We need to cut back on this. We need to do that. Otherwise, there's no money going into our long-term survival. A lot of people ignore this. And then guess what? The woman wants to abandon ship. Now she wants to mess with the program. The man has put all of his energy and time into creating a nest egg. Oh, she just wants to take her half now. She wants a half of everything right now. But the system isn't designed like that. The system, if you break it now and everything collapses because you want to take your money now, everything will collapse. Yeah, you'll get your cash, but you've just ruined the nest egg. You are now killing the goose that is laying the golden eggs. The golden eggs are what going to pay us in the future. But because you feel that you can take your bulk sum and get out and go and have some more fun because you're bored or you're sick of the relationship, guess what? That is a recipe for disaster. And I want to show it in this particular video here because it shows how short-sighted women are, and then it gets screwed up in the end.
After my divorce hearing, where I was married for 10 years, I was a traditional wife, I was a stay-at-home mother to 4 children. One of them is disabled. She had 4 open heart surgeries. I have been their primary parent since the moment they entered this universal realm. I'm the person that they have known from sun up to sundown and through the night. They do have 2 parents, but the way our family was structured, I was the one that took care of them. He was a little bit busy doing other things.
He was a little bit busy doing other things. She stayed at home with them, but he was a little bit busy. You heard how she downplayed that shit. Oh man, 4 kids. This man had the pressure of 4 kids. One who had medical problems. He was a little bit busy doing other things. Wow, that's just ruthless, man.
I wrongfully assumed that courts would see the situation for what it was and give me everything that I wanted, and I would be able to remain their primary parent and remain in good, like, just everything would be amazing. And that's not what happened. I had to not only split custody, but in my opinion, it was horrible because this person doesn't even have their own home. He is living with his romantic partner. So I was like, how is the court going to give you 50% custody? You don't even have a fucking home. You're an actual hobosexual. You have no home, no job, nothing. There's no way a court is going to give you 50% custody. They sure as fuck did. Not only did they awarded him child support because he quit his job right before the divorce hearing to throw off our income. And then the court used a really fucked up calculation for my income. And it was just like literally the worst of the worst of the worst. My attorney said her jaw was on the floor. She has never had a divorce end up so lopsided in her whole fucking career. And then she wished me luck and I was on my way. If I didn't have the money to pay her, sucks to suck.
Oh, yes. You know what that husband did? He just did scorched earth. He freaking bombed the whole damn system. Okay, you want to divorce my ass? I'm going to leave the freaking job or get fired from it that has been provided for you and the 4 kids. That you think you're going to take half or all the money just so you could run off and do your thing? Hell no. I'm leaving my damn job or get fired from it. Whatever it was, he no longer had a job. More than likely, he did not leave the job or resign. Simply because if you did that and you went to court and it was determined that you left your job because you know you were going through a divorce and you didn't want to pay child support, the judge will still charge you and dock your next job that you have the same amount that you would be paying if you had that former job. Yeah, they will do that. I've seen that many times in American courts. So it's best, gentlemen, do not leave your job. You can get fired. You can get dismissed for some reason. And if you have your own business, you can actually make sure that it's not making a profit, not paying yourself enough money. You can do a lot of things to get around it. And gentlemen, that is called scorched earth, meaning she's going to take the money. Make sure you don't have any money for her to take. But it gets better. Listen to the conclusion of this.
In the franticness of like, oh my God, I have to give this person I'm going to be homeless. Do you know what I mean? Like, how am I going to pay child support and pay my rent and all my bills when I'm barely making it by myself? Needless to say, it's been 5 years. I never went homeless. I never lost anything. I never lost my kids. I've only gotten stronger and better. And it was because in the franticness after that, I called an attorney thinking, somebody has to fix this. Somebody's going to make it better. And I called an attorney. I told him the whole story. And he was like, do you want me to tell you the real fucking truth? Talk to you like you're my fucking sister? Or do you want me to give you like the polite answer? Like he could hear the vulnerability and the desperation in my voice. He was like, get the fuck over it. Divorces suck. people get bad results. And if you continue to try to fight with him in the courts, you're only going to make yourself look worse. You can be angry, you can be mad, but you need to just shut the fuck up, put your head down, and focus on your life with your kids. Because the longer you sit in that anger about how it didn't go your way, you're stopping yourself, you're slowing down your healing. You're slowing down your healing. It was like a light clicked in my head, like, you're right. It's over. The divorce is over. The decisions have been made. I can either accept it and move forward and focus on my life and focus on solutions and focus on, at least I don't have this ugly fucking dusty in my bed, in my body, in my anything anymore. And that's what I did. And life got better. The minute you stop looking at all the problems and start thinking of solutions, everything starts to get better.
Oh, that is hilarious. So let's recap. So this woman obviously getting a job after. She's obviously professional enough to get a job. But she now has to pay him child support because he's not making any money. Scorched earth. Beautiful. So men are waking up and learning to fight back the system. She obviously did something really stupid because there's no way a lawyer would tell her, listen, you're not going to win this. You screwed up bad enough that no court is going to look at you favorably. That is basically what this lawyer was telling her. Any lawyer who knows that if there's any glimmer of hope, he would recommend that she fight because he's going to make money. But he obviously saw that there's no freaking hope for you. Move on with your life. She's just making it sound good. Now, the reason why I wanted to play this video for you all, gentlemen and ladies, because there's a number of great lessons here. Number one, and the most important thing, divorces are unpredictable, messy, and nobody wins in it. Like I said earlier, all of the plans and the long-term strategies that men are stuck in to get to the end of your life for both of you, most women disrupt that with divorce. They end up literally just not being able to take it to the end. That is the biggest issue. And then we're now starting to see the laws get a little bit better in favor of men. They're not even close there. Listen, it's not even close to fair. This is one of those anomalies. One of those strange cases where the man wins. He literally had to destroy his profession or his business in order to win in this particular case. That should never be the case. So, until, gentlemen, we all rise up and we all take these cases to the Supreme Court where we're saying we are not being treated fairly as men. Yeah, gentlemen, if you don't file a class action lawsuit and take it to the highest courts in order to protect yourselves, like they did in Kenya, nothing is going to change. I think the biggest problem in the West is that most men don't come together collectively in order to get things done. Women are very efficient at doing it, but men don't do it enough. But I'm glad that countries like Kenya, who see the mistakes that are being made in the Western Hemisphere, are also affecting their country. They're seeing it and saying, okay, you know what? This isn't going to work. We appreciate the tradition and the institution of marriage. And if we want men to uphold their roles as the leaders and the builders of society, we have to make sure that they're treated just as fairly as women are. Because nowhere in the law that it's saying that women are not getting anything. The law basically says that it has to be fair. If the wife stays at home and the man goes to work and she gives up her career, there has to be some compensation, which I agree with 100%. But it don't have to be half. If the man builds a freaking $10 million company and she wants $5 million for staying at home from her retail job or her barista job or her marketing job, online marketing business, yeah, that's not going to fly. Not going to fly whatsoever. She don't get to take $2.5 million to go and play and have fun with her for the rest of her life just because she married a guy for 4, 5, 6, 7 years. Hell no. We all know that that's highly unreasonable and totally unfair. Listen, so that you all understand me, I believe in fairness, total and absolute fairness. But too many women have taken advantage of the laws, and it has led to the massive destruction of the nuclear family system. We know it. We see it everywhere. And the only way that's going to come back is for the West to be fair in the divorce laws. In other words, stop giving women an incentive to get divorced. All right, my friends, listen. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give me a thumbs up on this message, please. If you guys haven't joined our community yet, please log into askanolderman.com. Book a session if you want, but join our community. Let's start getting together. Let's start having some dialogue. Let's start getting together from all over the world, and let's have a conversation online. I would love to be able to put like-minded people together. That's my plan. Okay? So until next time, remember guys, whenever in doubt, always ask an older man. And for God's sake, stay in your marriages, ladies. All right? Cheers.